The man walked into the diner and quickly scanned the room. There were 4 people inside and he had to kill one of them. A man sitting against the wall, a couple, and a waitress. Nick was a hitman, but his last job went sideways. He killed the target but a bystander was burned alive. That left a shadow on Nick's mind. To prove to his mentor he was still fit for the job, Nick quickly took another assignment. The intel on this one was vague. 13 Ross's Diner 5 o'clock. The target only had one codename White River. Nick picked a safe spot to sit down, trying to figure out who White River was. Just then a local cop walked in. The cop also scanned everyone in the room with caution. Nick glanced at the clock. 5 o'clock sharp. The mission had officially started, which meant White River was one of these people. Nick felt something was off and decided to go after them one by one. Nick left the diner and went to the only motel in town. He slipped into the room of the man who had been sitting against the wall, quickly spiked the man's liquor. Not long after the man returned, drank the poison liquor without a clue. Soon he noticed Nick standing behind him. The man admitted he was also a hitman, but he had never heard of White River. Nick pressed him for more, but the man struggled for a moment and then dropped dead. Nick quickly staged the scene. The second target was the waitress. He went back to the diner, asked the waitress if she had ever heard the name White River. The waitress said she had no idea. Nick took her back to the motel. After searching her he found no weapon, and she had no intel on White River. Looked like she was just a bystander. Now the most suspicious ones were the couple. Nick tracked them down by their license plate, and in the man's backpack he found a note. It said Ross's Diner 4:30 to 5 o'clock. So the couple were killers too, just like him. But right when Nick was about to leave, that cop from the diner showed up again. Nick got tense. The only one left who could be the target was the cop. Nick slipped out through the front door and hid behind the police car. He slid under the car and cut the brakes. Later he spotted the cop after the crash. Both of them pulled their weapons. In the end the cop was gunned down by Nick in the woods. Nick called his mentor right after, even though he never figured out who White River was. All the suspects were dead, so the mission was technically complete. The mentor hung up the phone and pulled out a gun he had prepared. Back at the motel, the waitress had let her guard down and was asleep with her clothes off. That was when Nick happened to see her passport. The name on the passport was different from the one on her name tag. That was when Nick realized he had made a mistake. The waitress was White River all along.